What's up, everybody? How's it going? Episode number, I don't know, handful of the Lead From Here podcast. Excited to have you here. Today, we are going to talk about the fear of being fired. This is something that throughout my time as an employee, everybody has some level of it. Some people have very little of it. Some people have very high levels of it, and they're constantly concerned about it. As you come into leadership, as you start to lead people, you understand that it's a way of life for some people. Some people are so focused on not making the wrong decisions so they don't get fired. What I can tell you as you start to lead things, whether that's by title or by action, there has to be a level of, this might get me fired. But I'm passionate about it. I have the data to back it up. My team needs this. My people need this. My person needs this. My boss needs this. All these things can come together to make or break your career. And very rarely, now, and there's going to be a lot of things I say on this channel. I'm going to go ahead and caveat this right now, that in a healthy company, you're fine. Most of the stuff is going to be accurate. It's going to lead you down a path to some kind of success. If you're in an unhealthy org, you have to be aware of that, and it's up to you to how you want to action on some of this advice, these insights, these thoughts. But a lot of the topics we're going to touch on definitely put you in the crosshairs of people that might be toxic, because some people see that as a threat to their way of life. And if you don't have, the buy-in from the right people, it could get you fired. It's just a reality, and so nothing I say here is like it's carte blanche for everybody to do this in every company. It's up to you to understand the nuances of your own company and understand that one mistake in an unhealthy company might get you fired. It might, but in most healthy companies, which is back to the point, most healthy companies, one mistake is not going to be enough to get you fired. So understanding where you're going, understanding that your people come first. There are going to be times where you have to stick your neck out. There's going to be times where you have to say, I'm going to say this, I'm going to present this information, even though it might get me fired. I'm passionate about it. I know this is the right path. I know what people are asking for is the wrong path. I have to do this. And, there's going to be times where you walk into a shitstorm and they're like, no, this is dumb. Like, this is a bad idea. Can't believe you present this, and it'll hurt. And then there's other times we're gonna be like, you know what, this is a great idea. I think we should pivot, and it's up to you to understand the risks involved with that. But ultimately, if you're not doing that, if you're just kind of taking it as it comes and just kind of like, well, it is what it is. We'll just go with what they said because they said it. You're gonna be a worse leader in the long run, because at some point they're gonna realize that you just kind of take what they say and pass it on. And that's okay in some situations, but in most situations, they want a leader, a good leader, a healthy company, wants all of their layers to really challenge, to say, like, I understand what you're saying, but looking at the data, I disagree. And that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get your way. You may still have to implement, but you've put your neck out there and said, hey, this is actually, based on the data, this might be the wrong call. And I think we should go this direction. And that is not an easy thing to do, especially when you're staring down a CEO of a company and they're very connected and very powerful and very smart. And, they didn't get there by luck. They're a CEO for a reason. If you can do that, though, it does build respect. Now, the catch is, if you're always wrong, you're always doing the wrong thing, you're always making the wrong calls, you're gonna get fired. That's just what it is. Like, you can't always be making calls and being like, I'm not afraid to get fired, and they're always wrong and not get fired. Like, if you pile up a bunch of losses, just like a coach in a sports team or a producer of a show, if the show doesn't work out, you're fired and you didn't do a good job. Like, that's just what it is. But if you're doing the right things and you're making the right calls and you're using the data correctly, you're building cases and you're making decisions and you're moving the team along and you're seeing successes in there, a failure is not going to be final. A failure will not end your career. And ultimately, a failure can be a really great opportunity to learn. So don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to get fired. be afraid of stagnating. Be afraid of becoming a yes man or woman. Be afraid of letting your team down, letting your leadership down. Be afraid of that. Because if you're afraid of being fired and that dictates all of your decisions, is I just don't want to rock the boat, it's coming. It may not be this week or this year or next year, but it's coming. At some point, you're not going to get the promotion. You're not going to get the career growth you want. And ultimately, there's a good chance you're going to get laid off or fired at some point. So it's important to continue to push yourself, push your leaders, push your team, and do so without a fear of being fired. I hope this is helpful. If you guys have any questions, hit me up, Jason at leadfromhere.co. If you have any ideas of things you want to talk about, shoot them my way. Any questions you would like some guidance on, happy to help. Take care. If you like what you're listening to, subscribe, all those good things. I appreciate you. Take care.